Welcome to our product leadership. This time we're focusing on how to leverage customer insight to make good product decisions. Welcome to Richard Illig, someone I know quite well, one of our former students and now lead PM at Flightwright, as well as founder at Product Peers. Richard, well, not so recently now completed Prod MBA, I suppose, 6-7 months ago now, but I would personally be interested in knowing how you've been applying maybe some of the learnings on being customer focused, like I know you moved into the role relatively recently, right?
Yeah, hello first of all, and thanks that I can join the session. I'm really happy about this. Always great to talk to you. So we have these catch-ups from time to time, and now we do this even public. So that's really exciting. Yeah, let me just explain what happened recently to me. So I was changing organizations in the last year, and I started in December, new organization, new challenges, and all of this during Corona. So everybody who starts a new position in this time knows how difficult it will be. Yeah, you don't know anyone, you don't meet them on the corridor, you don't meet them at the coffee machine. So you just have to try to just work on your own somehow. Wow. And so how do you start? You probably try to talk to everybody first of all. And your question was then what did I apply from the learnings? And there's actually an interesting anecdote, I would say, that started when working on when I got confronted first of all with my first task, or one of my first tasks, from one of the founders.
Oh yeah, go into that. I'm sure it's something that will resonate with others.
So actually the founder, he's really a very energetic person, is great in vision and really has a lot of good ideas, but it's not clear which ones are good and which ones are not. So I got approached was there was this prototype that they developed in the last year in a ideation session workshop within the management circle. And it never found its way out of this management circle.
Yeah.
I just got this app, and it was like, so Richard, what do we do with it now?
Mm-hmm.
And you think, well, I mean, probably you would think, okay, how can I make this now go live? But that's not the question that I asked myself. And really a good portion of this, why I was really stepping back and looking at it from a bigger picture, was that I joined the Prod MBA, where we said, okay, let's actually really start with the problem first, which seems so easy. But in the program, I learned some nice techniques like the MVO, the minimal viable offer, that you can apply. And I really applied at large scale, which was the first time I did this, and was surprising for everybody.
That's super cool. No, it's nice to hear, because I think that's it, isn't it? You know, sorry, before we go into your process, like we read so much about like being problem centric and being customer centric, but it's very hard. And I think also admirable if you come into a new role and pushing back and saying like, whoa, let's make sure we are actually building the right thing. But before the call, you mentioned this really interesting. Like, how did you actually apply the MBO?
So first of all, what is an MVO? So the idea is that you start with a minimal viable offer, which is just completely not the prototype or the MVP that you might have later, which already is a solution. So you go one step back and say, okay, is this a problem that our users actually have and face?
Mm-hmm.
And is the problem so acute that any solution, be it bad or good, has potential to be sold?
Mm-hmm.
Because what I really suffered in other organizations where I've been before, they had a product, it was not bad. We built a new product, it was really cool, it was gamified, it was fun. But the problem was just not acute enough for people to go for it and buy something and invest. There was even a B2B solution. So it was really difficult. And here I said, okay, I really learned from this. And I really had those MVOs, the minimal viable offers. So let's go one step back, and we say, okay, let's compete those minimal viable offers in a survey, and make the prototype that we have seen is extract what it actually does.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, okay, it actually fulfills this need. Yeah, it solves these problems. So let's put this in a sentence which sounds a bit marketingish.
Yeah.
And we developed in a session with the management and some marketing people and so on. We developed 3 more minimal viable offers. So we said, okay, now we have 4. So we can ask people, what is the most urgent issue you see, your most urgent problem from the 4 of them?
Got it. Just could you give an example? Because it's something that obviously teaching this, the common mistake I see is people, even when we're saying focus on value, you see a lot of the time that even when we take this lean MBO approach, people are focusing on features. It's like, hey, we're going to provide you this feature, rather than actually the point of value or the as we say, taking the core frustration, flipping it to an opportunity. So maybe just get a couple of examples of ones that also resonated, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have them yet, so it's a bit internal, but I try to make it as concrete as possible, but as unclear as necessary. So it's about the flight industry. So it's about passengers' rights. And one of the ideas is to offer a service that helps the customer when he or she needs to cancel a ticket on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a painful process, and you lose a lot of money, and you don't want to lose all of this money. And there should be a possibility to get help in getting at least a good fraction of the money that you paid back from the airline, which actually is a mean system anyways, because just imagine to go to instead of going to a supermarket and make your groceries, and instead of paying at the end, you actually needed to have paid 1 week in advance. And then you go to the supermarket and pick your stuff, which might be delayed, or maybe it's canceled. So it's really crazy that we have this system actually in the flight ride industry anyways.
Yeah.
So this was one of the offers. And then we said, okay, I said, I want to have more than this 4 offers that we in our management circle did. So I said, as a product manager, it's not on me to come up with good ideas. My quality is to facilitate with the team that we come up with good ideas. So I went with the teams, a developer team. There's 2 separate product teams, and I went with those developers, mixed them, and made them interdisciplinary teams, and we created 2 more MVOs. And then there even was some other possibilities that we thought, oh, actually, we wanted to do this as well and this as well. So why not making this an MVO first before we develop anything as well?
Yeah.
So we came up with 9 MVOs at the end. And just this weekend, we sent them out to 5,000 of our users, which are signed up for the newsletter.
Wow.
And we got like 2% answer to the full survey, which is consisting of, and that's interesting as well, there's a survey where you answer questions which seem to be very specific to your situation based on the MVO, but they are actually completely generic. So you ask things like, okay, who are you? Describe some of your behaviors. What is your biggest challenge at the moment? How did he help you to overcome this challenge? What were your blockers? And by this, you can find out more about the user, about the blockers that they have, and about what they actually really need and what they want.
Yeah.
And we asked them the 9 MVOs and asked them, okay, which of those is the most urgent need? And we got like 100 answers with a full journey, including the email address. So we already have now people that really signed up, so to say, for our service that we might develop, and that we can now follow up with the next design steps. And we have like a very clear top 3, which fits very well to our aligned vision, and that we would like to do anyways. So we proved actually that the prototype that the management came up with was actually really good, and we will continue working on the problem, but I will not promise that we will working on the prototype again. Because now we will do this with design.
It's so cool to hear, because it's firstly just doing it right, actually being brave and saying, you know what, let's open up and really explore the problem space before we commit. But I think also there's such long-term value in saying, if someone brings a prototype to you, it's not actually clear what you're trying to deliver there, right? Beyond user stories and sort of features, right? You're not going really deep down on like what specific value we're trying to create. And I think now I suspect you'll see long term, by being very clear, like, hey, these are the 2-3 things that we really worry about that we want to deliver on, like, it's reliability or speed, for example. It just it's a decision that removes 1,000 decisions. It makes just it very clear to every stakeholder, we do these things and we're going to just sort of ignore everything else because it's not that important to our customers. I think that's also the value of the MBO, not only building the right thing for the customer, but also just aligning the whole organization really effectively.
Yeah, and you just mentioned it. It's not about only verifying, it's about falsifying as well. So we have at least 4 MVOs that we say
Good.
nobody wanted them.
Yeah,
So only 1 or 2 people voted on them, and we thought they were good ideas.
Yeah, it's a great insight as well, right? Because I've
It's
had this run
amazing.
hundreds
How
of
much
experiments.
development effort did this save us to us?
Yeah, exactly, 100%. No, that's a great point. Is it's because then again, what you're doing is closing a door to just all these ideas that would otherwise come your way, right? Stakeholders are going to be like, oh, but I think customers are really worried about X, Y, and Z, and you can go, no. They worry about these 3 things, these 6 things, they just don't care. Also, the other point I think with this is, not because ultimately, like, we're not trying to pitch the MBO or pitch the Prod MBA process, but I think also just demonstrates the value of qualitative data. At the moment, there's a big obsession with quantitative data, right? A/B test everything, have detailed analytics. I think it's very difficult to do properly, to do it in depth in a reliable way where the data is, there's no biases. You actually have enough data points to trust it. And I think just, that process itself just shows you can shape like the whole strategy of an organization with a good, ultimately, survey,
Yes,
which is
it's
really
really
powerful.
just a
Right?
survey which you theoretically can build up in 1 day or like in 2 hours if you want to. So you really don't need anything. Yes, of course, you need some users. So I was lucky now that we had a newsletter of some thousand people attend, but still, and that's something that seems so logical as well, but it's hard. During your course, what we did was really inviting people on LinkedIn, which we think will fit in our niche, and annoy them with our survey. And it's like really 2 to 4 minutes, so it's fine. And actually, I've seen this now twice since we did this. Maybe I'd never looked at this, but I got twice emails now in the past from people that just asked me about what they think about their offering that they had. And for example, there was one I'm just writing with at the moment that says, well, he wants to solve for product manager the pain of getting in contact with users, because you have to find them, have to make sure it's the right one, and you have to schedule an appointment. That's so annoying because you will be busy all the time. And he says, okay, that's an offer what we make. I have no idea how they do the solution, but I think as an offer it's really cool. And he came with this to me, and I had specific questions, and that's this forth and back. And I think that's really the key, how you should do product management instead of just executing what you get from the founders.
Yeah, so true. And I think also, part of the reason we get you to do the outreach is that it's showing you that it's not this big scary thing, and that actually, again, it's ultimately like if you have something good to offer, right? So if you have your MBA statement, we help you achieve desired outcome with XYZ. People are very, firstly, you're not pitching, you're not trying to sell them anything. So they're not, aggressively against you. Second thing, if it is something that resonates, they're more than happy. Right? They're very happy to, as you found, you're happy to have a conversation. And I think it's so, as with everything in life, particularly business, it's very easy to hide behind like what ifs, or, I don't want to offend anyone, but, just to show that you're not, and actually you can do a huge amount of valuable work by just being bold and reaching out to people you think are relevant. No, really cool. How long, out of interest, how long did you, this is a common, question as well. Someone reads about MBO or attends one of our trainings and goes, yeah, sounds really cool, right? We're sort of validating the offer before committing to an MVP, but how long was that process for you? Because it also, managing lots of stakeholders and developers as well. Like, what was the process from introducing the concept through to saying, well, we validated these 3 are the areas to focus on?
Yeah, that's now a bit difficult because I could have done all with this last year when I started in December because we had the
Mhm.
first session. Oh no, that's not true. We had I discussed it briefly shortly before Christmas with with the founder, and then we had the first workshops in January. And as I really wanted the whole team to give input and to create
Yeah, great.
MVOs, it took a bit
Mhm.
longer. So it was like 2 to 3 weeks. But obviously you could do this in a week if you wanted, and get really results from people. Especially, I mean, we had like a 2% response rate if you reach out to your niche directly, face to face, or
Mhm.
with LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever your niche might be. You will probably have a way better
Yeah.
response rate, and you will get to, let's say, 10 results very easily. And then
Mhm.
it's easier to understand as well, okay, is this something that resonates or not? And regarding the question, don't be shy, because understand yourself more like a doctor. Nobody would say that the doctor is selling you medicine.
Yeah.
He gives you a solve.
Yeah,
He
good.
gives you a solution for your problem,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you are much more the doctor here, because people have problems, and you see this like the people that signed that answered the survey, 75% gave us the email address to sign up for our service.
Yeah, wow.
This
Good.
means they really have a problem and they want it to be
Yeah.
solved, and that's why they are really happy to provide you with
Yeah.
contributors.
Yeah, that's I mean, again so encouraging actually to see those results, and I think just to empower other people, because as I said, it's easy to be, well, people are just going to tell me to piss off if you message them directly, but generally they have a frustration. Like, even simply having a conversation with them, sometimes you do user interview, it's like a therapy session, right? Because they're frustrated. We have one student at the moment who's looking at American healthcare, and it's just this like black box that is, he has people like angry on the user interviews because they're so frustrated. So yeah, there's a lot of value, a lot of people looking for problems to be solved. So really cool. And also on that point, again, it's, yes, you can go faster. You could do this in a couple of days, but so important to bring the team with you. And it sounds like you've done a really good job, Richard, of actually getting stakeholders and your team to buy into the process, which is, again, you 100% see dividends of that, rather than sort of rushing in yourself and just sort of showing these results to people, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, and especially as this seems to be like a I haven't seen the MVO actually anywhere else, so it was like something really unique to present to them, and they were actually quite impressed, especially as the results are really fitting well.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now I
yeah.
have not only the quantitative results, but I have a lot of qualitative knowledge about my user group that liked one idea, which we want to go with,
Mm.
and the other ones like the other idea, so I can as well have an idea of which target group is mine and which
Yeah.
ones are actually turning away to other ideas, so I can ignore them. That's really valuable as
Yeah,
well
yeah,
for you.
yeah, 100%. How have you, out of interest, you then applying that? You mentioned you sort of form cross-functional teams. Would you assign sort of one, ultimately an MVO is a value proposition, right? It's designed to be a unique, validated value proposition.
Yeah.
Have you built teams around each one, or do you sort of just make those objectives clear for each team to approach as they wish?
So how did we do this? I used so the workshop was divided into a presentation part, which I did a bit interactive. So I
Mm-hmm.
prepared situations and personas that we already had, and some of the insights that we got from other
Mm-hmm.
studies and research, so that the team had some meat to chew regarding, okay, what are some problems that our users have,
Yeah.
and there were very realistic cases. And this was the let's say the introduction. And then there were three. I used the three phases model. So there was a green phase where I say, okay, now you can bring up any idea and we will build on it. There's no criticism allowed. There's no
Mm-hmm.
objections. Everything is possible and right and good what you say now.
Yeah.
And this really helps you developing quicker ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I used some questions as well, like a question like, um, what would we do if flying or booking a flight would be like organizing a children's birthday, just to get them out of the box and
Yeah.
use some thinking which is like a more lateral. and another one was, okay, what would you need to do to make the worst flight experience for you? And from those ideas, you can really then easily turn around the product as well, and although the offer that you want to make to avoid situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did in the green phase. And then you have the yellow phase where you go deeper into some ideas. You try to cluster them. Yeah, people come up with a lot of ideas, and then we decided for one. Everybody was able to put a dot on it. We used a Miro board, and then we took one and made an MVO, like a sentence, like a value proposition together. And this was in 1.5 hour done.
Oh, wow.
For me, this was a really nice outcome in a short amount of time. And what is really important, also the MVO was not in the highest ranks of the test. It is really important to have all your team in there, because you need the buy-in for whatever solution you will make. And when they are part of the process and they understand why we did all of this, then it's not about our idea was bad. It's just about the problem that we thought is important. It's just not resonating with the problems that our users have. And that's just a great learning for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's really, 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 I mean, rewarding for me to hear that. I think also just a very smart way that you have integrated this concept. Because I think it's, it's really easy to try and rush ahead. And I think really, really clever how you sort of brought everyone into the conversation. Let's just, in the last 5 minutes, let's talk about Product Peers, right? So Product Peers is one of our success stories coming out, generated revenue actually on the program, like developed the concept for Product Peers.
Yeah.
Maybe just very quickly, like, what is it? How did you come to the solution? And also how are you, how did you integrate customer feedback along the journey?
So with Product Peers, this was really part of the course itself. So what is your niche? And I said, okay, actually I wanted to do an LGBT group within product managers. I really wanted to, I once founded such a group in my very first employer, which was a bit, not homophobic, but at least the industry was a bit homophobic.
Traditional.
No, it was homophobic. It's gaming.
All right.
Which is very,
all right.
and okay, it turned out to be everything was fine. It was a great learning, but still, the employers really felt very welcome because of this network. And then I asked people in Berlin about their needs. So people that I looked at LinkedIn for product managers, which somehow have LGBT, TTIQ, whatever, in their LinkedIn profile, and I talked to all of them. Not all of them, but I reached out to many of them, and I just found out there is no need for such a network in Berlin.
Yeah, I remember we had I remember actually a really interesting conversation at the beginning, because it's a great example of you picking a niche, but actually an irrelevant one in that case, because again, applying MBA thinker, applying design thinking, I suppose. It's ultimately, it's not being LGBT which defines you as a product manager and your goals as a product person. It is ultimately like getting better at product. I remember we had that conversation. Yeah. Sorry.
And then we turned into, okay, we want to get better in product management. So we said, okay, we are a community that makes you actually become a product owner, product leader. Where we turn to product managers and product owners. And that was then the MVO. And I tested this as well. And the results were amazing, because we found out that 9 out of 10 product managers in Berlin are frustrated.
Yeah.
And I did not have any idea what the solution would be, what I could do with them. But I felt, okay, this frustration is so immense. We have to do something. So we set up a landing page on Shopify, and within 24 hours, the website was live, and the first payment came in. It was just €4. It didn't matter. It was just playing about it. Okay, you just sign up.
But it's really important. It's showing that people are willing to put money down for it.
And then in the next 2 days, there were 2 more payments. And I said, okay, wow, that's so cool. My first payments that I made with my own idea.
Yeah. Also, again, with just the landing page and an MBO. I think this is the misconception. Again, I mean, obviously, it's core of our teaching, but it's just, I had a one-on-one with one of the students earlier. It's like, the statement, right? That headline statement, that MVO, that is what matters. You could have the ugliest landing page. If that sentence is compelling for a specific niche, they will engage with you, right? And they will buy from you. It's such an important learning to experience.
3 payments, and I had no idea what the solution would be.
Exactly.
and this is what you need to. This is what is important about. Okay, you found a solution. You found a problem, and now let's go look into the solution. And I had interviews with more than 50 product managers over the course of some month. To find out, okay, what they wanted. And what we did now, we are a community where we meet weekly in virtual sessions, and it's like an open space, so you can bring your topic or your issue that you have, and we have different breakout rooms where you can present your topic, and then peers will come to you. There's usually up to 4 peers working on one issue. You can give your case, and there is a process of understanding, and then the peers will discuss about your issue, so you can lean back and just enjoy the show, and then at the end you can react to it and say, okay, this is what I would like to do with this, so you can learn from it. And then we will come all together and we will present what we learned, what learning we gathered in our different breakout sessions, so we have a mutual learning all together. And it's really great to see how engaged the users are, the product managers. And just today there was a new product manager, and she said, Richard, I really have to tell you, I'm so happy that this network exists, because I don't have anyone to talk about my product questions with in my organization.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I think it's 2 things there. I think first thing is, ultimately, like we promise the same transformation, but with different vehicles. And I think that's a really important point is, there are different ways to achieve the same goal. And I think that comes from going first principles thinking. So what do people really want? Not going like, what is my competition? And I think second thing as well, it's a very clever model, because you're coming back to customer insight, right? You're allowing your customers to really define the solution on an ongoing basis, like in terms of the content that's covered. But I know also you're good at bringing in feedback, like NPS score, these kinds of frameworks for just continuously improving the product.
So
which
for
again,
example,
you don't need to do anything too clever with that, right? It's survey, speak to people.
Yeah, it's really like this. So I always have a survey for the session. So I ask them for feedback, and ask, okay, what is the one thing we could do better to be one grade better than the NPS that you just gave for the next time?
Good question. I might use that. That's clever.
On a weekly basis, I learned from this. And then I asked them the questions from the superhuman product market fit engine. Because especially for the new users, it's really great to get some insight into this. And this helps me just to make sure that the offer really resonates with the needs all the time. And we have now 10 to 20 members every that really participate. And what my goal was that I wanted to actually sell business plans or business accounts, so that the employer is actually paying for the you to participate, because there is really value for the product manager to solve issues that they have in their organizations, be it on a personal, on a leadership, or on a product level, or any execution level, whatever level it is, you can find there, and you can bring up with.
Yeah, it's really cool to sort of observe your journey, and also really nice to hear also, again, for me, I'm not bothered about what I do unless people are actually applying it. It's a waste of time if it's, you can have lovely videos, lovely case studies, so you need people to be applying this stuff. Otherwise, I'd feel ashamed charging people, I think. But anyway, I think that's a good place to wrap up, actually.
I need to tell you one more thing, Henry.
Sure. Yeah.
So by the 18th of February, we will start the first version from the from America. So there's one peer. She got up at 4:30 in the morning from Toronto, and to participate in one session. And she loved the format so much that she said, "Oh, we need to have this here as well." So she starts her own product peers from over there. And we will do this then together, and we grow like this, the network, internationally. It's anyways international, but now there's a second group, and this is really lovely to see.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's just a good place to finish. The other benefit of being customer centric is that you see your impact on people. right? You actually speak to people and go like, wow, I'm doing something that's genuinely helping. And, I think coming back, getting a bit existential, that's why you should be doing what you're doing. Right? It shouldn't be about making money. It should really about like, how am I helping in some way improve people's lives, make the world better? And it's just it's a good way to just, motivate you and remember why you're working hard, why you're getting up early, why you're worrying about making sure you're delivering value. Anyway, I think that's a good place to wrap up. But I think, as always, a pleasure and really, really, awesome. Actually, really, really fun conversation, and picked up a few tactics and tricks myself.
Thanks, I enjoyed it a lot as well.
Where should we send people, I suppose, to Product Peers?
So it's product-peers.com. You can just sign up. 3 sessions are for free all the time. So just give it a try. Join us. You will meet many of our Product Peers veterans, and there's always some newbies. So feel very welcome. It's a really energetic and friendly environment.
Yeah, it is good fun. I'm actually running one of the sessions, aren't I? 2 weeks or so?
It's true, yeah. And I think it's on the 26th of February.
Yeah, by the time this is out, it'll be around the same time.
Nice.
Okay. Excellent. Well, look, I'll obviously point people to Product Peers. I'll put the link in when we publish this. Thank you very much, Richard Illig.